Hey guys, welcome to Downtown Tailoring. I love today's video. We are going to shorten a jean skirt, keeping the original hem. So let's go. So this is my skirt. As you can see, the hem is marked with pink and there is a yellow sticky note and it says Eurohem. This prevents us to make a lot of mistakes. So I always put the Euro note if I need it. So I'm marking my hem, and what I'm gonna do is to see how much I need to shorten, and it's around 2 inches and 1/4. And then now I'm going to the back and see the slit, and I see that I can have a little bit of a slit. There is not so much material inside to open it more, so we will just leave it the way it is. Now I'm marking my hem. I went 2 inches all around. When the customer tried on the skirt, I saw that the skirt was okay on her. I mean, it was straight on her, so I could go straight. I cut my hem, and now what I have to do is to open it. And that's very important. I think we haven't talked enough about opening using the blade. The blade is really dangerous, and you see, this is my leg. I am holding the hem with the table, so that is taut. That will allow me to cut the thread that will be in between the blades. I have the blades in between the two materials, and then I'll go cutting the thread. And always remember that I put the blade around 5-10 degrees up. So if I cut the material, I will cut the hem and not the material on the top, right? When I go to the edges or where the material is too bulky, then I go a little bit slower and then go thread by thread. The thing is that this really takes experience, and I know that I do it very casually, but it takes some practice. So if I gave you the impression that I was butchering all those jeans, no, I'm really careful. So now I'm gonna cut my jeans around 1/4 inch to 3/8 of the inch on top of the top stitch, and you can measure it to do better job. I eyeball, but most of the time it's good if you measure, it be okay. So I'm used to that. Like, I used to cut a lot of clothes and pattern, and I eyeball a lot, and I know that is not the proper thing, but I did it. Guilty. Now I am going to clean out all the little threads that are in the way. If you leave those threads and then you sew on top of them, it doesn't look clean, it doesn't look good. This is my original hem, and you can see they fold it like twice, and it's a little bit bulky. And then if I just sew my original hem on top, you can see it will be even bulkier. So what we are gonna do, we are going to thin out these materials, these edges, to remove a little bit of the bulkiness. So I'm opening, and then there you see I'm cutting the whole thing inside to leave just one layer, because anyways that will be covered, you see. And in the hem too, we are going to do the same. We are going to thin everything out. What we are looking here is to reduce the bulkiness. What I'm gonna do, I will open this part. So I'm opening my edge, and then I will go to do this job in 2 steps. First, I'm gonna cut the total whole corner in both at the top and at the bottom of my hem, and then I will cut just like a line. That way we are going to remove one layer. That way, when I put again my hem and I fold it over, as you can see, now it's not so thick. Let me compare it with the original one. You see, they are basically both now the same width. You see, that's what I was looking for. Now my next step is to find the thread. To find the thread is really a task a little bit difficult, because sometimes when they sew the garment, they sew it with a thread that is standard, but then after they pre-wash it. And then when they pre-wash, the indigo of the denim goes through the fiber of the thread, changing the color and not homogeneously. changing the color in some places and some no, and that really makes the job very, very difficult. What I do, I will compare the thread that I have from the skirt to the ones I have, and then I will try to find the one that it will look more or less the same of the best, and I will take in account as well that after this skirt is washed, the indigo will still change in the color of my thread. You know, that's really tricky and it's very difficult to know exactly what you are gonna do. Unfortunately, you know, using my camera to show you all my thread and everything, but what you see in the camera not always is what you see in person. So the colors are affected a little bit by the lights, and you cannot really see the color the way I see and what I'm gonna choose. I'm sorry about that. So this is my thread. This is the one that I decided to choose, and as I said, I know that in the camera probably doesn't look the same. I'm sorry about that. I already have done a job like that in the past, and I was very criticized for a color and the customer really like it, but this is what it is, and this is the color that I'm gonna use. This is the one that in person looks the better. So what I'm gonna do, I will make back my top stitches. Remember that it had 2 top stitches. I will make it in both sides. So what I'm gonna do, I will make my top stitch. This is my first side, and for my second side I have to cut it again because I didn't do it before. So I'm cutting my side and I'm cutting my square at the top and at the bottom, and then after I do that, now I know that I'm ready to sew back my 2 top stitches. And now is the turn to sew the hem to the skirt. But the first thing I do is to check that the sizes are the same. Look at that, they are not exactly the same. That happens because the skirt usually are flare, so the bottom part will go opens and opens, but that is not a problem since I can just take it in at the sides to remove the excess of width. I'm cutting the excess of seam allowance so it's not so bulky. And now I'm going to confirm that the measurement is okay. And now I'm going to do the same at the other part of the skirt. And it's really important when you do that you pin it or make sure that all the straight line, the horizontal lines are aligned, because that makes the skirt looks more like the original. You see, like all the lines coming together, and that will make it look the job better. Now what I'm gonna do, I will position my hem in the skirt, and as you can see, we can clearly see the original line, the original top stitch where it was. So what we are gonna do, we are going to sew just a little bit below of this original line. So when I fold my hem, I will just have just the little holes, and then I will be able to sew on top of the holes, and it will look fantastic. The next thing that you have to take in count is the length. So you know, you will have the length there, so you have to see where you really need to do your top stitch so the length doesn't change. So now I have everything, and I will start my stitch. And as you might know, it's very important that all the seams match together, so you can use pins to make sure that they will all match. And remember that they are so thick that they might move when you sew them. So if they move and you have to open, it doesn't matter, just do it. It doesn't make you a bad tailor if you made a mistake and you correct it. I keep sewing my hem, and I'm making sure to sew just besides of my original top stitch. Remember, that's a very, very important step. When you sew beside the top stitch, when you fold, it will be great. Now I'm going to finish my seams, and I'm gonna make sure that everything falls in the same height for my slit, so it looks like the original and well done. and I'm checking that my corners are not really well aligned. So what I'm gonna do, I will open it and sew it back, making sure that it's good. Now that I sew it, I see that it's okay, and now it's time to confirm that all the stitches in the sides and in the front are aligned. That's very important to create like a flawless finish. Now it's time to turn my hem and preparing for sewing, and I just have to do a top stitch on top of the original stitch all the way around. I am very careful to catch everything inside and go over, and here you go. This is my skirt, it's all done. After the customer wash it a few times, it will get more nicer, everything will fall in place. I hope that you like this video, guys. Please like, share, comment. Thank you. Bye.